Hello, welcome to Z Reviews. I'm your host, Zeospantera. Wallpaper in the description, mousepad in the description, and don't forget to check out Patreon and subscribe star which support this channel. Now, we're here to talk about the 808s. If you don't know what the 808s are, let me show you what the 909s look like. This is a headphone I bought. I bought the 909s. I wanted the 900s, but then these came out, and I'm like, ugh. And there's very similar problems with almost all Fostex things. And there's hope on the horizon, because I was at CanGym, New York, this recent March. And I shook hands with the new CEO of Fostex. He was there. I've never met the CEOs anywhere outside of like Munich. So it was interesting to like meet the man. And he just took over a year ago. And he started getting a feel for it. You wouldn't be at CanGym unless you gave a shit what people are saying. So I talked to him at length. And I talked to the distributors at length. And I talked to everyone at length. And I actually stole his set. The owner of Fostex, I stole his set of 808s. And we went on a hunt to try to fix them. And we went on a hunt using amplification. We were just like plugging in. We had Mass Cobos there. We had every wah amp there. And that shouldn't be a thing I have to do. I should probably show you the product now. Shouldn't be a thing I have to do. In front of the president of the company, is take his personal tuning set, which actually wasn't even. This is number 62. He had one with a different headband because it was an older. I think it was a 909 headband or something. These are 11, by the way. And try to fix anything on a. Here's the problem with the 808s right off the bat. I'm just going to get the problems out of the way because there's fucking gold in here. And you're going to have to stick around if you want to hear about the gold. But the problem with the 808s is the 909s. And that shouldn't be a thing. If I told you, hey, Fostex is coming out with a baby biocellulose version of the 909s. This one is $1,800. What should this one cost? Because in my mind, that's $800. We got the 610s. How much were the 610s? I don't even remember what 610s. But they were like mid couple hundreds. At most $999 for this. And then, almost double you get up to the 909s. This is $1,400 or $1,300. Hold on, let me check. The current websites I can find it on. Elise Audio, who's actually sending me some IMs, so that's cool. They're going to be $1,400 on there. They're on Audio 46, but again, not available for $1,300. So $1,300. Let's say the lowest price I find. And then these are $1,800. So that's a $500 difference. That's not enough of a difference to dissuade someone to not get the higher end, in my opinion, prettier version with the custom paint job and the same grill material instead of the wood. And then I'm going to get right through this right now. Fostex. And the owner of Fostex may have said a few too many things, and I'm not going to repeat them verbatim, but all you got to know is things are going to change, hopefully for the better and in the future. Because, you'll notice that this system here is the same system here, and it's been the same system for 12 years. And while it's perfectly fine to articulate a headphone with this headband, it's not really the best headband. Some people don't think this is enough padding, and then it kind of feels kind of weird, like the angles and articulations. I can't give a better example than tungsten. All tungsten has different than this is angles. It's still holding a cup on two sides. It still has a stem that it rotates on, and yet tungsten is 55 times, and that's scientifically proven, 55 times more comfortable than any Fostex headphone. So they need to redesign a few things. Number one would be this, which maybe he said something about that. Number two, and this is a big one, but I don't think it's gonna happen, is the connector for the wire, because you'll see my 909 there's several things about my 909 you should know. Number one, it does not use the stock cable. Here's the stock cable on the 808s. It's like a clown car. It comes with a 10-foot vacuum cord. You gotta keep in mind, this is Japan. Fostex is very Japanese, and Japanese businesses do not like to change. And if this is what was symbolizing, high end in probably 1997, it's still in use today. giant 1/4 inch only, boom, into a mega, wait, where's the end? Okay, we've reached the end. And then it loops back. So you've got like at least a 9 foot? That 5 feet? 9 feet. I'm going to say 9.5, whatever. It's got a very long cable connected to what is specifically a proprietary version of the Sennheiser 2-pin connector. And I say proprietary, even though I said Sennheiser, because there's a big and a small port, and they're reversed on this versus what Sennheiser does. So you can't even win. You'll get them out of phase if you use a Sennheiser wire, which isn't the worst thing as long as you're getting them both out of phase. But that's silly. It should just be a 3.5 millimeter like everything else. So my 909s, my personal set of 909s, have got the wire changed out to a periapt cable. Link to periapt cables in the description. They were nice enough to send me this purple one. But it also, my 909s are not using the stock pads. They're using Yaxi pads, specifically the TH808 Yaxi pads. And so I get the 808s, and it has the big dumb cable, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll use it for testing purposes. And then I go to the show, I steal the owners, I run around to every amp plugging it in, and I finally figured out it needs like the most insane tube setup. So I have the 66 on, I got the WA7 Fireflies on to do the review. And then the last fucking 10 minutes before I start this review, I'm like, screw it. I gotta know. I don't want to take the pads off my 909s because they live there now. Let's see if a Deconi. I literally picked up a random Deconi set, and I think these are Bear Dynamics, and these are like the cool gel foam ones. Like they're actually cold to the touch when you leave them on. And these come off with a little twist, and I just put the pads on here, and I put them on my head, and I plug them out of a tube and plug them into something solid state. In this case, the hi-fi in. Holy shit. This is the thing. This is the thing that Fostex needs to finish, is the finishing news. I've already talked about the lack of the unboxing experience. I'm not going to bother. It's just a plastic bag. You get a beautiful box, you open it up, paperwork in a plastic bag, and it's like, there's no drama there. The stock pads, we'll put back on, I'm just going to do this temporarily because I need to make sure that I'm not crazy. I think this is the right way. They just sort of lock in place, and you could rotate them around the plastic insert rings. See how that works? Good system here. I don't mind this system at all because that means you could take pads off. In fact, Fostex, if you're watching, hello, when you purchase the headphones, if you're going to keep this sort of system, include an extra set of the rings. This way I could just unscrew a pad, which this is harder to do because it's not the stock pad on there. But I could just unscrew a pad and then put on another one without having to peel and bend and flex like I'm going to have to do for these. The wire, obviously, does anybody, like, seriously, in the comments, I want to know. This is probably looked at by the Fostex CEO or at least by people who are the distributors here. Does anybody actually want a 10-foot unbalanced vacuum cord cable with your headphones? Now, depending on your usage case, maybe you have a tube amp. Most tube amps are just 1/4 inch. Maybe you're going to have the tube amp far enough away you can't touch it, and maybe you want to stand up and be able to pour yourself a drink while listening to your headphones. Then you'd need this, all right? If you want this, please give me your scenario, tell me why, and say so in the comments. I won't ridicule you. I just want to know. Because, I mean, I'm only me. I can only imagine what other people do with their audio equipment. So me, I want a balanced cable. Preferably a 4.4, because this is the future. There would be a giant jump to go from a 4-pin to a 4.4 for someone like Fostex. This is actually a Heart audio cable adapter on I'm just going to link all my cable manufacturers in the description. This one came from Viking Weave. He custom made me this red and blue with silver interconnects going to a Fostex cable, going to the Fostex heads, which cost like, I think he told me these cost like $60 a pair to buy one pair. So when you buy them and you have someone make you a cable, if they're charging you a little bit more, that's why. Wait, that's the wrong one. That says right. And that says left. Cool, I'm getting it done. I'm getting it. We're getting it there. And then it goes this way. So now let's change the cable. Let's plug this in balanced to lower the Wash 7 Fireflies. Let's rotate the pads to be the correct orientation because I had it completely upside down. There we go. And let's give some... Oh, that's another... Honestly doesn't bother me because it is metal on metal and it's not like one accidental point. It's this whole... So the construction is as follows. Pads, slightly tight 3-knuckle, slightly angled. They're not terrible. Here's the thing. They're not like they're built poorly and they're shit pads. They just don't... Stock pads on every Fostex I've ever had don't work with them. They're not the best thing. All the company, you send me a headphone and I get it and I listen to it. I'm like, this is it. I'm assuming this is... For some reason, Fostex, if I get an old school T50RP, it's like, sure, 1540 pads are the better pads for T50RPs. I get these. I know Yaxi 900 pads are the best on that. And these, I just randomly picked out a goddamn set of Daconis, which I'll try to link. Although, honestly, I'm sure if I went through my box of 200 sets of pads, that's worth more than my truck, I'm pretty sure, if you go retail value. I could find something that's even better. But there's just this, like... I'm still talking about negatives, and I really want to talk about the positives of this headphone now, because most people have stopped watching already. Let's go give a listen on a proper fucking tube amp, and a proper tube amp. The more expensive the tube amp we plugged into with his set, the better they sounded on stock pads. So I'm back to stock pads. This is acceptable, except every once in a while, Megumin is like, chit, and I'm getting that chit, and I'm like, my face is like wincing, like I just had a really sour grape, because there's an S's problem with the stock pads. It's a little bit, great detail, but it just doesn't feel refined enough. Low end is a little lackluster compared to like the closed 900s. Even to the 909s, it's not really focusing on that. These are trying to be, I guess they're trying to be like a studio reference record like thing. That's what they're going for in this. This will be one of those videos you can give to someone that's like, Zeos likes everything. I try to like everything. I try to fix everything if I can. If something is total shit, I give up. I will not give up on Fostex. Meeting the president, him just chatting with him, and like, I want him to succeed. I want these to succeed. But the next revision is going to have to be different. So we're just going to pop the pads off this. We're going to do the thing. I'm going to do it live. We're doing it live. Ugh. How did I get this on there? There we go. Peel off this ring. Take the Fostex pads. Just put on any other fucking pad. In fact, I'm going to pause the camera for a second to do this. All right, I think I unpaused it. Did I unpause it? I can't tell. There's no blinking lights on this one. I can't see. I'm glad I paused it for that, because that took a solid 4 minutes. Those rings are just slightly smaller than the Dakoni Beyerdynamic pads. So the problem I have with Fostex is a consistent one, at least. It's nothing new. There's nothing new that I'm complaining about. Fostex has made some of the best headphones on earth. Fucking Argons. T60 and T50 Argons are Fostex. There's Fostex right over there. I got a Fostex sticker on the window of my car. I love Fostex. But the problem is there's a but. There's always a but. There's a big round but. And the but is, but you got to change the cable to something if you want to go balanced, a little more manageable length and size. You got to, if you got to buy these expensive connectors. And if this doesn't affect you, you got to, like, if it doesn't feel comfortable, there's really nothing you could do. There's nothing you could do with this sort of headband. Plus, you got the but of this is $1,400. Assuming $1,300. That is so close to tungsten single-sided. Granted, you'll be waiting like 28 months. But that's the competition now. The landscape, Fostex, again, is stuck 10, 15 years ago, where they were, 900s were I remember when I got them. When I got the 900s to review, someone sent them to me. They smelled like someone's basement. And they were the pinnacle of expensive audio, of high-end headphones. And they were like $1,800. And I know it doesn't seem like a long time ago, 7 years ago, whatever it was. But holy fuck, has the landscape changed in 7-8 years. Tungsten is just the newest revision of something amazing. Meze. Where was Meze 7 years ago? Didn't exist. You got SJY pulling out things. You got giant Moondrop headphones, and Aoun is jumping into it, and Sendy Audio, and Civga Audio, and ZMF came out of fucking left field, and they started getting their prices down. And we got Dan Clark Audio. We got so many things that are now competing in the space, and Fostex has just been like, we'll put out another headphone in 3 years. Design it today. We'll just release it in 3 years. And they're not going to get the market share that they would have a decade ago. That said, these fucking sound good. Once you change the pads, Sibilance is gone. I went right back to Megamine singing the end strategies from season 1. Season 3's coming, motherfuckers. Are you hyped? Hype! Like, the difference in sound from the stock, if you buy these headphones, if you've heard these headphones, forget everything you've heard on the stock pads. And again, I'm not stating that these specific pads that were randomly out of the box and just shoved under are the best ones for it, but they just show the potential for like a 20% improvement in sound. That's no joke. I did my best to listen to these stock for as long as I could, on as many amplifiers as I could, on tube after tube, and then I stole his set, and I could get them to where they were tolerable. But no one should have to buy a $1,400 set of tolerable headphones. That's bullshit. Changing to these pads, putting it on a balanced cable, and I don't even think I need to go, here we go, right here. Atom 2. The most linear fucking little $130 amplifier you could spend. Sound great. Sound fucking great. Couldn't get more opposite fucking ends of the spectrum as going from the Atom 2 to a WAS 7 Fireflies. Obviously, I still think the tube is helping since the biocellulose drivers are doing a thing, but they're not required. I'm angry. I'm angry because there's so much good that Fostex could be putting out right now, and it's just some fucking pads. It's just some fucking pads. Yeah, I'm like the clarity is now, where'd this bass come from? I'm in my playlist, by the way, for sound demos. If you support me on Patreon for $5 a month, you get 2 lossless sound demos, new ones, which I film at this desk with not safe for work wallpapers, and all the old ones that disappeared because I had to nuke them off of YouTube. I used the nuke button a bunch of times. So if you're interested in sound demos, including ones of the fucking 808, which I'm not sure if I did that already, but if I did, I'll have to redo it with these pads. That fucking bass is so tight. This sounds like a biocellulose driver. I'm sorry I didn't have this sort of like rage and energy at the beginning of this, but it has to build up. Anyway, this is, what does that say? I'm trying to read it. Tommy, Tommy, Beyond the Stars, from the 80s Dream compilation. And it's just got this like, let me see if I can unpause this and... It's got this like digital kick drum. Like, it's definitely not real drums. It's all synth. But it's like dun dun, and my whole fucking chest feels it. And it's not like it's a bassy headphone. It's not an Eris, but it's like fast and clean and distortion free. I hate their pads. I hate your pads and I hate your wires, Fostex. I don't even care that the headband is a decade old. That's just something I've noticed from having a YouTube channel for 11 years. It's like, hey, I've done the Fostex, and their headbands are always the same. That's a slight inconvenience. They're still well made. No one ever complains about these things breaking. It's just, it's time, man. It's time. It feels like they're selling the same thing over and over again with different skins, and they keep making the same problems. This headphone is fucking... All right, ready? Timestamp Zeos just to this moment. Ready? This headphone is fucking fantastic. Absolutely worth its price. But then you still got to buy pads and a wire. It's what you got to do. It does not work out of the box. It would be beneficial to Fostex to go to the warehouse in Japan and have someone go through every box, steal the wire and steal the pads, and lower the price $100. and sell them like that. Oh, I got a headphone. Didn't have pads or wire. I guess I'll have to get other ones, and almost every other ones you get will be better. Almost no matter what they put on it would probably be better. I'm going to see how much longer I can keep these 808s because I want to try a couple more pads. Just a couple more lying around. Maybe a harmonic dime pad, maybe a brainwaves, just something. Because the difference that just going to a random, like, gel comfort gaming Bear Dynamic Dakoni pad with a little more depth and distance from that driver, it's a whole different headphone. It's a whole different headphone. It's like I'm yelling at Grado. Fostex, you're better than Grado. As far as, like, you should be able to, like, you have a giant international corporation and you should listen. Grado needs to detach their fucking cables and put pads on that are comfortable, which I just happen to have Daconis on there. In fact, there's another set of there. And you need to get rid of this proprietary bullshit connector. No one wants this. This isn't better than anyone else's anything ever. I'm sorry. Make your cables more... Fucking Fio. Where's Fio? Where's your little cable? Fucking Fio has, like, it's a nice wire. This is too long too, which is why it's weaved into a giant thing. But the end unscrews. And look. Ow, I just pinched a nerve in my wrist. That was annoying. My fingers went numb for a second as I did that move. It's a balance connector, or you screw in a 3.5 and you get your standard one. This is on a... Why are only this headphone has this? Why only this headphone? Why a Fio headphone has only this? Fostex at $1,400 should have a slightly less long cable than this. Although, you know what? Even if you left your cable just as long, but this unscrewed and let me put in a 3.5 or a 4.4, I would accept it. Anything for convenience. Fostex doesn't understand convenience. They understand comfort well enough. But I think someone who's doing the final sound test on the tuning is like, they're giving their thumbs up and they shouldn't. They should be trying everyone. If you are running a headphone company right now, this is free advice for anybody out there running a headphone building manufacturing company. If you are building headphones and you do not own 25 sets of test pads, you're fucking doing it wrong. You need to finish your headphone, finish your tuning, do all the shit. Are you ready to sell it? And then go stop and pull out the box and go pair 1, pair 2, pair 3. Ooh, this has something better than the one we were chosen. Pair 4. And you got to go through 25 revisions of headphone pads. And if any of them make it sound better, not measure better. No. I'll get into a cage match with Resolve about measurements. Does it sound better? Then you sell with that pair of pads. Or you look at your pads and go, why are these shit and these not shit? Because, I mean, there's 4 tires and a steering wheel. Doesn't that make every Volkswagen Beetle the same as every Ferrari? They all have 4 tires and a steering wheel. They're the same. They're not the same picture. This is a weird bit of passion because it's like I love Fostex headphones. You fucking know that. But I like modified Fostex headphones almost exclusively. All right? Even my standard T50s got the 1540 pads. T50s became T50 Argons, T60s. I still have a stock set of T60s around here. Changed the headband thing, and I wish they were Argons. I wish I had 2 sets of T60 Argons. There's the Argons. The 909s are fantastic. And they need a bunch of shit changed to make them, like, usable. And the 808s are also fantastic. And they need a bunch of shit to change to make them usable every day. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to you're going to buy these, and you're going to have to decide. Here, let's put them on a speaker amp, because that's what sane people do. Get out of there. You're going to buy these. I want you to buy them. I want you to put them on your wish list. It's infuriating for me that they have such a good headphone for sale, and it's just, you're going to buy it, and you're going to listen to the stock pads, and it's not going to matter how much burn-in you put them through, and it's not going to matter what, you got to dig through all your amplifiers to make it tolerable, and then you're going to be like, well, I got a cable. Change the fucking pads. Please, for the love of God, change the pads. It would be worthwhile for the distributor of Fostex, who I know, actually, to include a free set of pads with every purchase. A secondary one, just something else next to the box. Anything. People are going to skip this fucking headphone, and it infuriates me. Because it's just narrower on that. Oh, but it's so fucking nice. They're just so nice now. And it's like, this is no longer like, hey, everybody, I found this secret tip. You buy this $40 headphone, M40X, right? Who remembers my M40X? Raise your fucking hand. Raise his hands in the comments. M40Xs were terrible, unless you change the cable and change the wire. But it was an $80 headphone. You needed $40 or $60 fucking pads, and then you got a $20 wire. And for under $200, you rock the M40Xs with the big cowhide ZMF, big cowhide Mr. Speakers pads, and the standard random wire from Amazon. And it was great. Went from 80 to 200, but it was worth it. I shouldn't have to tell you on a $1,400 or $1,300 pair of headphones to do anything to it. It sucks that I have to tell you to do something to it. But please, believe me, you have to do something to. You have to change the pads. They shouldn't. I was right there at fucking Can Jam, and I had Duconi's booth, and literally next door was the fucking Fostex rep and everything else. And I should have just been like, hey, have any pads? Any pads? Any fucking pads? Give me some pads. Any pads? And I would have probably been beneficial. I could have made I could have put his own headphones on him. I could have taken the president of Fostex and I could have put his own headphones on his head with just different pads, and he probably would have gone, oh. And either he would have liked it or hated it. But I would have been able to tell him, look, this is what I want in a headphone. I want to put it on and have it wow me without any fucking problems with the sound or the amplifier's too hot or too linear. I need to go tube. I don't even need to go tube anymore. All right, anyway. This has been a weird ranting review, but I know you guys kind of get off on these, so it's fine. I'll leave it as it is. Probably long, too. But the passion, man, it's real. It's a real passion. This is not scripted bullshit passion. This is real, infuriated, like, passion. I'm trying to relate to an anime thing, like, interspecies reviewers will never get a season 2. Probably. Anger. Yeah, so I'll links to the 909s and the 808s. And I'll try to find these specific. I don't have them labeled. I usually write the names of what pad it is, but I've got so many. It's just, at this point, it just doesn't matter. Just put a pad on it. Anyway, yeah, I'm good. You're good. We're good. I'll go back to this for at least a few songs. And if I haven't done the sound demo yet, because I did like 11 sound demos, the last run I did of sound demos, I'm not sure if the 808s are part of that. Yeah, it'll be this combo. It'll be these pads and this wire on this amp, because fuck you, that's the best it's ever sounded. Anyway, back to my things. Patreon subscribers support this channel. I want to thank all of you for supporting my rants and ravings, because I'm a lunatic and I need protection, and that costs money. So thank you. $5 a month gets you C reviews early, participate in yard sales, and get to those sound demos I keep talking about. And if you want to see IM reviews, those you actually don't need to pay for, just go to my Patreon and subscribe, so there'll be unlocked posts with free IM reviews that have not been released publicly yet. $10 a month puts you in the private behind-the-scenes Telegram chat where you can talk to me directly, and I will answer your questions. You also get into a lifetime swap meet chat in the $10 a month, so that you can sell something to make money to buy a Fostex 808 and one $60 pair of pads. Like, it's just fucking buy them retail from Duconi. They don't even have to leave China. Japan is so much closer. Anyway, also for $5 a month, I'm going to have a thing where I will be answering questions. I'll put up a post. People are going to ask me questions in the comments, and I will respond to them in a video a week later or 2 weeks later. I'm not sure how that's working out. But yeah, no, I'm hoping to give you guys some more benefits from supporting me. Wallpaper and the Wallpaper Horde. Girl in Panzer, great show. Yeah, I'm done. Oh, and the Mousepad. Rising Sun, man. Just this is some classic, probably stolen art from an Amazon Mousepad. I believe in you, 808s. The question is, will anyone else?